The following is brought to you in part by a grant from the Foundation for White Wellbeing.
In the nations we call home, an illness has taken hold, a spiritual poison infecting us all.
White people, am I right?
Damn white people are pissy about racism.
A population taught to hate itself and assist in its own demise.
When we say we want to kill whitey, we don't really mean we want to kill whitey, we do.
Some white people may have to die. I'm confused on why that's so controversial.
A people lost in an electronic dream, bereft of meaning and enslaved by guilt.
The only way that you should ever actually be in front of a black king is on all fours, and that all black men should know that they are kings.
Yes, goddess.
You have to give all these brothers peace if you're really sorry. Go back down, come on. Do as you told, man. Go on, bow back down, man. This is a good white man, man. This is right. Understand.
What happens when we no longer care? When we allow ourselves to be dominated by our victimizers? Our most innocent pay the price. And what happens when they finally stand up? The most important story for the 21st century, in a time when we shall re-enter history, when we shall create a new world in our image, and when we shall finally reawaken and become heroes. Crucible, Child Patriot, American Victory, by Jason Kerner.
Cause we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Yeah, we ran out of patience. Boil up with a cold hard hatred.
All right, we can't be stopped. Please let me know that you can hear me okay. Let everybody know that we're back. We're back. We're back. The power is back. Apparently, there was lightning rolling in. Reposted the stream champion. Let people know part 2 is back. Nothing can stop us. Apparently, there was. Thank you, Great Sloths. There was. It immediately started raining. Apparently, there was lightning elsewhere, but we are back, and nothing can stop us. All right, we are back. All right, very good. Let people know that we're back. Part 2. Part 2, we can't be stopped. It was glorious. A little hiccup, a little bit of lightning. I'm throwing lightning again, but we can't be stopped because we're in service to white well-being. You're going to have to let people know that we are live and that we're cranking this puppy back up, and we're going to be rolling right now. Back to where we were in the quick news is where we left off. Ladies and gentlemen, again, please let everybody know that we're live again. We are unstoppable. Welcome back. Woo! Hello on Rumble, says the Trigger. Yes, we are rolling on Premium Rumble. Everything holds true that I normally say. Premium Rumble up and running. And sorry, I lost everybody's comments over there. I lost all the comments, of course, because we lost all of the power. But we've got the power back. And we need one of those Generacs. We need one of those generators, don't we? And then we can't be stopped, no matter what it is. Thank you all. Hey, let's demonstrate that a little thing like lightning can't hold us back, shall we? Shall we get out and start rocking and making the world a rocking white place? Nothing stops us. Here we go. Back to quick news and laughs. We're just going to keep rolling, ladies and gentlemen. You'll have to let people know that we are live again, though. Part 2, she said it's called Pretty Privilege.
It's called Pretty Privilege. You would want it too.
Oh, that's really cute. Looks like a real old doghouse with a tarp thrown over it. I'm half waiting for Cujo, a filthy-ass St. Bernard, to come wandering out of the midsection of this thing. Yeah, you're pretty.
It's called Pretty Privilege.
You're pretty. All right, God bless her.
My Uncle Junior.
When your date doesn't look like their pictures. How about that? Before we can continue rolling with this, ladies and gentlemen, let me know that you all are sharing and that you're back in full force here for quick news and laughs. Quick news and laughs. We got a bunch of sweet emotions coming. We're going to have to be careful about the sound, though, so none of those songs come through. Look, take a look at this. This is when your date doesn't match her photograph.
Works there, who is a Jehovah's Witness, believe it or not. He went from Catholic to Jehovah. So basically, my grandmother wanted us all to switch from Catholic to Jehovah. You know, meanwhile, we're from Harlem. My father's doing coke. My father gets a job at the Palm restaurant. My uncle.
That's like so many females today. You know, they show you there, like, here's my 21-year-old or 23-year-old picture. And here I am at 45 and 45 tons. Are you kidding me? Here are some victories. Democrats and the media repeatedly said no illegals were on Social Security, but Donald Trump has kicked off the Social Security more than 250,000, and they continue to count. Big victory. Big victory. Get fired up for the victories, folks. How about this one? ICE detains an Indian student after his due process, quote, in quotes, hearing of an expired student visa. There are so many of these who have decided to just stay in the country because there's no punishment for it. Another big victory taken away right after the due process hearing. Back to India with you, buddy. Let's keep it rolling. Here we have another victory. Breaking: Trump admin may take in substantially more than $300 billion in tariff revenue per Scott Besson. Big celebration there. Tariffs working exactly the way Trump said it would. Trump's right again, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing but victories here for a little bit here in quick news and laughs. What are we? Well, in the middle of this, we're going to have an alcoholic monkey. take a look just for the fun of it. An alcoholic monkey chugging an entire bottle of, is that whiskey? Wow. Back to the victories. Just in, former South Carolina clerk of the court, Sharon Staggers, a Democrat, has been indicted for embezzling $119,000 taxpayer dollars, mostly from taxpayer dollars that were assigned to child services. That's another big victory. This is what the entire West looks like when our norms are white erased. That face right there, staggeringly hideous and corrupt as all hell. Another victory. Breaking, Adam Schiff has been urged to resign immediately following whistleblowers' bombshell allegations that he leaked classified information to the media in an effort to sabotage President Trump per Fox News. Celebrated, folks. Big celebration. How many victories are we having here today? You found me again. If you're finding me, you're coming back for part 2. I hope you're here for part 2. You don't know how does that song go? Found me? You don't know why you can't turn around and say goodbye. All you know is when I'm with you, I make you free and swim through your veins like a fish in the sea. I'm singing, follow me and everything is all right. I'll be the one to tuck you in at night. And if you want to leave, I can guarantee you won't find nobody else like me. Let's continue with the victories. Here we have a big surprise here. I'm single, childless, and alone. Feminism has failed me and my generation. Writes Patanella Wyatt. Good. That's what you should get. That is anti-whiteism. Feminism, a subset of the superset that is anti-whiteism. That's what you get. You should have listened to the white men. You women wanted to go off on do your own thing. Well, now you are suffering the consequences. Let's keep rolling with more victories. Her ruined life is a victory for us. How about this one? Midland, Texas, restored the name of its high school named after General Robert E. Lee. Welcome back, rebels, to Robert E. Lee High School. You got to love it. More victories. Nothing but victories in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Look at this one. New Orleans mayor, another anti-white, non-white. New Orleans mayor, LaToya Cantrell, indicted by federal grand jury following lengthy corruption investigation. This is the face of anti-whiteism. The white erasure of our norms, ladies and gentlemen. She's indicted. Another one of them caught. They're everywhere. Remember, we talked about nodes of power and all the people who said, no, you're not right about nodes of power. They're everywhere because of anti-whiteism. But that's another victory. Do we have any more victory? Look at this victory. You remember this? You remember this sweetheart right here? She's making video after video about 12 children that she has, and she's fleecing the white tax-paying base of the United States, feeding them all, clothing them all, housing them all, moving them all from location to location. And, of course, there are trips to the amusement parks, entertainment, on and on and on. Well, EBT found out about her and decided to severely cut back on her food rations because she's just bilking the system. That's another victory. So much to be happy about on Quick News and Laughs. And look at this. This is Washington, D.C. Celebrate pulling down. There's something like over 100 homeless camps in Washington, D.C. Don't come to Virginia that are getting mowed down. And you had this police chief or somebody at the police department that was just either revealed themselves or was revealed to be rigging and faking the numbers, saying, I'm sorry, crime is going down. Crime is going down. And so Trump doing this is wrong. It's the crime is going down. The only thing going down in our cities across the West are the hookers. And this is what liberty should look like. Crushing your makeshift houses across DC, and it should be across. Look at that. That's a victory. There goes your homeless camp. Get the hell out of here. How about this for a laugh? A Colorado man mauled after attempting to join a wolf pack he identified as a wolf furry. Remember, I don't know if this is true or not. I'm just giving you the news that others are giving. You have to check it into it for yourself.
Collins, who identifies as a wolf furry, has been mauled in Wyoming after attempting to join an actual pack of wolves. A self-described wolf furry from Fort Collins is recovering in a Wyoming hospital after attempting to integrate himself into an actual pack of wild wolves. 28-year-old Lupus Moonhowl, legally known as Brian Sanders, was spotted crawling on all fours in full faux fur attire, complete with a tail, plastic fangs, and a Bluetooth speaker playing recorded howls. Witnesses say he approached the wolves while tossing raw hamburger meat in their direction as a gesture of friendship. The wolves, of course, reportedly responded by chasing him nearly 300 yards before
I would have given anything to watch this happen.
testing his durability with a series of bites and swipes. A game warden on the scene described the encounter as, quote, the fastest I've ever seen someone regret a lifestyle choice. He suffered multiple puncture wounds.
Multiple puncture wounds. My God.
Torn synthetic fur and severe emotional disillusionment. You don't say! When asked by reporters if he'd attempt to rejoin the pack after recovery, he replied, probably not. They didn't seem very into the role play. You actually cannot make this up.
Oh, I hate that. You can't make it up. Yeah, you can. It's psychotic. And what do we have here, ladies and gentlemen?
Take a look at this home, starting with the...
Take a look at this little angel, little Daisy here. Deranged man pretending to be a woman is advocating for people to dox police officers by following them, harassing them, and broadcasting their home addresses.
Follow the cops home, starting with the highest ranking ones. Start little music festivals at the cops' houses and live stream images with their home address in the frame. You don't have to technically dox somebody to dox them, right?
Let's drag him off. Let's have law enforcement drag him off to an insane asylum so that he never sees the light of day again. Anti-white POS. What else do we have here? Oh, look, another woman suffering the consequences of anti-whiteism. And look, and this is the most hilarious thing. All of these females complaining that, hey, I'm not getting preferential treatment anymore. She's showing the train and she's trying to mock them. She's like, all the little princesses are sitting. Stand up, equal rights and equal lefts. Stand up. Don't care. Don't care. No more cutouts for women. No more cutouts. You join white men in the defense of Western civilization, or this is going to be your future. We're not going to come save you from your own decisions. Almost have quick news and laughs rolled up, ladies and gentlemen. 14-year-old girl kidnapped in Kansas by an illegal alien, reported here by Libs of TikTok, from Guatemala. Nothing but good people from there. She was found in Arizona. Here's the kicker. The Arizona Police Department released him instead of handing him over to ICE. Typical anti-whiteism, the white erasure of our norms. This infuriating down in Cincinnati. You remember we had Cincinnati Holly, and there's her picture. Looks a lot like the little white boy that we have on the thumbnail today, doesn't it? Almost identical, done by the same sort of anti-white blacks. In this video here, I have to point out, they're saying these officials, the so-called officials, holding these nodes of power, they're saying the white guy started this, and so the white guys should all be arrested and prosecuted. They claim that he slaps this black guy when clearly he doesn't. The black guy's getting in his face.
Demanding prosecution in the next 24 hours.
Demanding through the slap. And you can see right here that the white guy pushes him back. His chest, his shoulders come back to us. If he had been slapped, his head would have moved.
Be charged and arrested.
See?
The video speaks for itself.
He goes back. The head doesn't move. And even if he did slap him, Obviously, it doesn't warrant a anti-white terrorist lynching, but just again, another lie demonstrating this is going to be all of our lives with these officials coming after us to arrest us for being white. You looked at him wrong. Me. I think I look pretty young for my age. Me in the self-checkout camera. Just like so many of these girls we were just looking at. Like the one that was didn't look like her picture. And finally, we have this little ditty for you.
Curry Barker.
Hey, yeah. Chemistry class.
Yeah, I know,
How's
right?
How's it going?
So how you
man?
been? Any family? Any kids?
Oh, no. I mean, not that I know of. You know what I mean? How about you?
Excuse me?
I'm just saying, like, if I do have kids, I don't know about them, you know. What about you? You got any kids? Any kids, family?
You've created multiple single mothers
Joke.
forced to raise children alone.
It's a joke.
So you're telling me there's just a bunch of little kids, little Currys running around, growing up fatherless because Curry here couldn't be bothered to stick around.
Have you ever heard that phrase? It's a
Wow.
joke, man. Something a joke. It's a guy joke.
Malcolm! You remember Curry from high school?
Hey.
Well, he's just been knocking up women left and right and just not raising the kids.
Oh, that's messed up, man.
I know.
It's messed up, man.
I'm
It's
not.
my pride and joy.
I know.
Look,
Yeah.
and I love him even if he
Yeah, I
wasn't
know.
an absolute stud on his side.
That's
Look at
amazing.
Curry.
You know, I'm proud of my boy too. He's quite the musician. Must be proud of this out. But pretty sure he gets his talent and his good looks from his mother because he sure looks nothing like
Beautiful.
Look at Curry.
Beautiful. Maybe Curry here will understand the joys of being a real dad someday.
He's like, I gotta go.
And this is my oldest.
Let's rock. Little thing like lightning strikes can't keep us down, ladies and gentlemen. We have so much to get into here in the part 2 of our Going Free gathering. Let me know if you're having a hard time hearing me or not. We're going to be getting into she broke up with him because he wasn't anti-white enough. We have another plane full of Gazans showing up. We got a little boy, little white son of the West, beaten nearly to death by an anti-white black female at a church daycare, and so much more. Fantastic. Anglo-Saxon NWG, ladies and gentlemen. Had to play that one again because it's so awesome. Here we go. It looks like Greg the Man is over in the live chat on Twitter X. Good to see you. Let's get into this news item here. She broke up with him on Love is Blind. Now, that's a TV show. But what we see here in this skit, that I guess it's reality TV. I don't know anything about it. What we see here is so typical for Western civilization and our relationships that it is worth sharing, even though it's reality television, something called Love is Blind. Now, what was her objection to marrying this guy on the show? The objection was that he is not anti-white enough. Specifically, she felt on the subject matter of BLM, LGBTQ, and vaccines. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, as I was when I first saw that, you might be thinking to yourself, whoa, is this some guy? Is this some kind of like kick-ass, totally based guy? Was he like, screw them, screw all that? No. He just wasn't anti-white. He just didn't hold these, he just was not in favor. He was like, I haven't thought about it. She says as much. Hadn't thought about it. What about LGBTQ plus, etc.? Hadn't thought about it. What about vaccines? Hadn't thought about it. I observed, and I write about this in my book, Crucible. Those who have read Crucible are totally epic. They're epical men and women. And you will find in Crucible where I wrestled with this phenomenon of the boys having this attraction for the females, greater, stronger attraction for the females than they have for the boys, certainly for the vast majority of the boys. They have plenty of attraction for the prettiest faced 10%. And as a consequence, the boys were willing to modify their behavior to get a date, to get attention, to get girls to talk with them. It's a great injury. And I in Crucible, I write about this. All of us get to this point, all of us young guys, we get to this point where we don't quite know why, but we discover that we want females to smile at us. We discover that we would like to have conversation. We would like for them to enjoy a conversation with us. But females, and I write about this in Crucible, and if I would have had time, I would have pulled it out and read some of the snippets for you. They are concerned with fashion, not only of attire and makeup and hairdo, but with ideological fashion. What's the most fashionable thing? What's the opinion that everybody else is holding? And they are far more, at least in my estimation, as I observed these things, they are far more inclined to submit themselves and become fanatical about the ideological fashion. Now, in Crucible, I was able to overcome this. I became, by the end of those 2 years, I became the lord of this 1,000+ student body because of my advocacy based in morality for white well-being. You too this can be a microcosm for the macrocosm that is our totality of our people, the West, etc. You too can become one of these kick-ass winners in your environment, wherever that might be. And I want you and I need you to become that hero. I want you and I need you to become that guy or that woman at work, in friend circles, that leads the way, that says enough is enough. We are moral. We are taking back our destiny. No one has to be victimized as a consequence of ending our victimization. And that is that. And as a consequence of that righteous moral leadership to influence those in your circles. This is what we need. This is what I inspire you to do in Crucible. Everybody who reads it comes back and says, that's the story of my life. All of the anti-whiteism they experienced. Well, we saw with the females in school, and we see all the way up through adulthood, the same sort of submissiveness to what is ideologically fashionable. And of course, it diminishes some as they get older. It diminishes some when they get their own job and they can afford their own place to live and they don't need friends so much anymore. And especially if they're a little bit of a loner, then they are more inclined to come out with some more opinions of their own. But even in these such people, they go into these conservative environments and they continue to measure their morality by way of the anti-white benchmark. We have to address that. We've got to take it back. So here we have a perfect example. Now, on this show, did they want her to do this? Was this going to be big TV? Was it going to be? Probably so. Probably so. They probably said, as is the case with all reality TV, that they're steering it here and there, and then they're letting them make their mistakes and etc. Probably the case. But it's reasonable because it happens in everybody's life. So nobody looks at this on this TV series and says, no, this is ridiculous. Nothing like this would ever happen in the real world. I'm turning it off. No, indeed, we see that this happens all the time in the real world. So let's have a look. They have gone to the altar and it's make or break. And here she has to share what she has to share.
To be on the same wavelength. And so today I can't. I'm sorry, but I don't want that to be misunderstood. I still love you and everything about you is amazing. And I care about you so much.
Look at this guy. Why does he care? He could go right out and have any white woman he wants. He's going to get their attention immediately, and they're going to be coming over. Please, will you talk to me? But he is such a just insufferable cuck, as so many white guys are today. It's just like, well, what do you need, honey? In fact, listen to what this guy actually says.
I care about you too. I love you so much. I know I want to stay with you. Keep growing our relationship.
Keep growing our relationship. He sounds like he doesn't have an ounce of testosterone in his body.
If you'll let me.
If you'll let me. Is that what he said? That can't be right.
Keep growing our relationship. If you'll let me.
If you'll let me. That is exactly what he says. If you'll let me, please, please, if you'll let me. This is pathetic. This is a boy. The odds that he'll ever become a man are nearly zero.
We'll see.
We'll see. I'll decide how high you'll jump.
We'll talk about that. I know that the connection we have is so real, and my heart is there. But we talked about a lot of the values that I hold.
There you go. You talked about a lot of the values I hold, and I'm anti-white, and you're just not thinking about it. You need to be anti-white too.
Close to my heart, making this decision, my mind is telling me I can't. Are you okay? See me in the back.
All right, let's jump forward.
I just hope I made the right decision.
This is the kind of garbage television that we need to wean, really, best case scenario, we wean people off of. But until then, as we recapture our destiny, we need to be making such entertainment, even garbage entertainment like this, that is a lived experience for our people. In particular, it's going to be mostly females. And we're going to do the opposite. We're going to do the white positive thing.
Oh my goodness.
Love you.
We love you.
It was a lot, but we're rolling with it. I just want to talk to her. Yeah.
Was it like the time frame? I mean, I knew the whole time coming this, the time frame. Like, that's not, like, I feel like I knew you. Like, really. Yeah. I remember, like, I asked him about, like, Black Lives Matter, and
I asked him about, and she says, and I'm not an expert. I'm no expert on Black Lives Matter. I just know that the benchmark in the West is anti-whiteism. So I needed to make sure that he is anti-white just like me. Really, this little garbage reality television show is demonstrating a norm and sickness for the West today in every white relationship. Let me ask you, how many Jewish guys are called on the carpet and then submit themselves to a Jewish woman that says, hey, you know what? You need to be for all of these different things that harm our people. I wonder how many Jewish women do. I'm going to go ahead and guess zero. I'm going to guess zero. I wonder how many black women, like we were looking in part one of today's gathering, how many black women writing for some Pinky in the Air, Urbane magazine are saying, you know what? If you're going to be with me, you've got to endorse all of these policies, agenda, positions, organizational entities that are harmful to the black race. Zero. We are the only race. It's time to take the hard pill. The only race that does this. It's time to start talking about us. It's time to start talking about our sickness. It's time to start talking about the lack of masculinity in our men. It's time to start talking about this officiousness, boss bitch behavior in our women. It's time to start talking about these things.
I'm no expert, but like when I asked him about it, he was like, I guess I never really thought too much.
He said, the pretty guy, both of these are very pretty people. The pretty guy there said, I guess I've never really thought too much about it being Black Lives Matter. I have seen this again and again and again in the real world. This happening in relationships.
About it, that affected me, especially in their own city. Like, how could it not? How did it not make you think about something? Like, I asked him to,
And there he is all by himself.
like, what his church's views are. And he said he didn't know.
Asked about what his church's views are. This is obviously going to be referencing the LGBTQ part.
And so then I watched.
They're laughing at because he doesn't know his church's views on these things. He does know. Likely the church embraces it, but he's really indifferent. He wants to climb the social ladder. He wants to get in between. He wants to get in the sheets, in between the sheets. Make it a little less lewd here. He wants to get in between the sheets of as many attractive women, mid women, even below mid women as he can. He doesn't care about white people. He doesn't care about white well-being. When he looks over at the right, what does he see? He sees the cucks and the schmucks. He's like, why would I bother with any of that? He's living large. He has a harem.
Sermon online. His church about sexual identity.
About his church about sexual identity.
And it was traditional. I told that to Greg. And he doesn't really have much to say about it, you know? I want him to think about it.
Again, he doesn't have much to say about it. All that she's saying is he is not submitting, he is not pledging allegiance to this anti-white benchmark in our society. He would not have to be, at least for this one, he wouldn't have to be an advocate. He wouldn't have to be a champion. She's just saying, hey, if anybody is to know what our position is, it's anti-white. Are you with me on it? And the guy's like, I don't know. I haven't thought about it.
Sometimes I did wonder if it was surface on carefree love that we had, equality, religion.
Equality. In quotes, of course, anti-whiteism. How many of you have experienced this with potential partners? How many of you gone on a date and you hear this potential partner on the date essentially demand that you submit yourself to anti-white benchmarks? I think we all have had it. And of course, for me, that's it. That's the end of it. Done. In fact, you all probably remember at least part of a story where I helped a female out of my vehicle on the shoulder of a road because she decided she was having a tantrum and she wanted to demand of me that I be anti-white and that submit myself. And I said, well, let me just show you how the brakes work on this vehicle.
The vaccine.
And the vaccine. And she goes on and on. How many of you experience it? Tag me as no white guilt across these multifarious platforms. And let me know. Have you experienced this? Have you had a run-in with a potential partner? Maybe you were dating someone for a while before they dropped this on you. Maybe you get up as a la this television network and you get up to the altar and they're like, no, for, of course, the big ratings, for the big shock. And naturally, the anti-whites on this show, what do they want to do on top of that? There are many anti-white motives here. Anti-white motives for this female, anti-white motives for the people on the show. What is it that the anti-whites do that produce this garbage? Well, they want to convey to the white female population, primarily, but secondarily to the white male population, you've got to submit yourself to the benchmark of anti-whiteism, the social morality of the West. Because if you don't, then the good-looking girl is going to leave you. If you don't have these positions, then you're going to remain unmarried to think about it, and you'll have to say these supplicating, servile statements of I will grow with us. I will do whatever you say, like this guy said. What a joke! How disgusting. Wing of Productions is here. Gabba is here. Jason is here. Good to see you all. Let's keep rolling. Another plane full of Gazans arrived in Texas from Gaza this month. There are now several videos showing dozens, if not hundreds, of Gazans arriving in the U.S. in the last few weeks. Well, we don't want them. This is what This is what happens every single time we are, as a people, our countries are forced into conflicts that are not in our interest. And then we are forced, by way of the white guilt, by way of anti-whiteism, to take these people in because they're just refugees. They're just injured. It's been happening for generations. So we're harmed when we are compelled to participate in warfare around the world that is not for our benefit, that doesn't serve our interests, that doesn't serve white well-being, and then injured again as we are forced to take, by way of the capitulation that white guilt engenders, forced to take these people from around the world. I mean, you can look back to any period of police action. I don't think anything is a war anymore. Police action, presidential decree, and you can see that almost immediately the boatloads, the plane loads, the C-5As are flying in full of these people. Do you remember? It was just a couple of months ago that one of these guys right here in Northern Virginia, the county called Fairfax, one of these guys who were brought in because they were on the good side in Afghanistan, came to the U.S., then decided he was going to try to murder several police officers. Not far from here, right here in Northern Virginia. Now, here you have, of course, and this is something to look out for, Laura Loomer and this account here, Vivid with his little Israeli flag. Just because they are in America and they don't want Palestinians coming here doesn't mean that we are on the same side. They don't want white well-being. Laura Loomer was a firebrand pushing for the United States, and she always will be, to serve Israel's interests in the Middle East or anywhere else around the world, for that matter. The fact that she also doesn't want the people that are being victimized by the Israelis in the United States doesn't mean she's an ally of ours, not even in the least. Trump cuts off medical visas from Gaza after Laura Loomer meltdown. Now, I want to point something else to about this that's really worth mentioning, and that is that take a look at this publication, Rolling Stone, CIA operation. Many say, I'm telling you what many say, when they have people to talk about to make popular, people like Laura Loomer, Nick Fuentes, they write about endlessly. That should concern you. They're never going to popularize something that is actually serving white well-being. They're never going to popularize the strategy that overcomes anti-whiteism, that circumvents it and supplants it with a new white positive morality. No, they endlessly tell you. And so do you think it's any surprise that you appear in Newsweek, you appear in Rolling Stone, you appear in all of these places, and then you have massive popularity on social media? They are engendering that popularity. That is the purpose of these articles. The move comes after Laura Loomer, right-wing provocateur, freaked out over a video of children from Gaza coming to the U.S. for medical care. So there she is. Donald Trump stepping in and saying, or it's not going to let me read anymore from there. How about over here? No, because we lost power. We lost the article. No big deal. It's just talking about how Laura Loomer is this central figure. You should know who she is. You should follow her probably because if you agree with this or anything else that she says, she's your rightful leader thought leader, content creator on the right. That's what they're saying at Rolling Stone. Many say a CIA outfit, or at least doing a lot of the CIA's work. Never forget, you can look back to all of the leaders who were installed. Look back at these magazines, and you'll see that every single one of them wrote about those specific people. They don't write about people that they don't want you to follow. They write about the ones that they want you to follow for content leadership. So, yeah, Donald Trump, and of course, they take the opportunity to slander Trump in the article. But it's clear what they're up to. Newsweek, Rolling Stone, so many others. It's clear what they're up to. There she is. That's, if you're on the right, there's your content creator that you need to be following. Every one of these articles, whether it's Fuentes or Loomer or any of the others, every one of these articles, popularity climbs every time they're written up in these CIA outfits. Before we get to that, I just want to make sure that we have shared the stream before we get to this next item. Doctors trained in foreign countries performing medicine in witch doctor-like environments are now in North Carolina, are now allowed to practice medicine on you. They could have been just days ago practicing medicine in some little blown up shit of a town in Afghanistan, across the world. Now they'll be able to practice medicine on you without having to get the previous training and licensure that was required in the United States. They claim that there are just not enough doctors. Well, what is going on with the doctoring in the United States? Now, there, of course, is an argument here about licensure and how they suppress and they keep people out with licensure. And there is, without question, a problem. They do this with everything. You could be a plumber, and they're like, no, you can't practice, you can't work the trade unless you pass through all of this testing and then get this license to be able to apply the trade and earn a living and pay us dues every single year. There's, without question, there's a problem there. At the same time, there is clearly a difference in education between the United States, even with the United States falling as rapidly as it's falling, a friggin' stone that's out of control, relative to the rest of the world, still superior to medicine in many places, a great many places around planet Earth. And yet now they say, well, we are now, and just think about this too, by the way, they are passing people, and this has happened for well over 15 years ago, maybe nearly 20 years ago. What was that medical college in, California, I think, where, I think it was California, where the student body was almost entirely non-white, very few white people. And then, for whatever reason, maybe it was because the electorate in California voted, say, no more of this preferential treatment. The subsequent year, the medical school had almost no students left because everybody had to be evaluated to return to the school on the basis of, and you'll have to look into this for yourself. Maybe I don't remember it just right. On the basis of their performance, rather than including their race or their economic background, which is another way to say race, on and on. So you can look that up at another time, make sure that I'm right. But this obviously is a serious problem when you are passing people for being non-white to be able to be doctors everywhere across the West. Check it out for yourself. That they then say, oh no, we have to bring in these Kabul trained doctors to work on you now because we just don't have enough doctors. What kind of treatment are you going to get? Did you ever say to yourself, you know what, I really need some medical treatment. I'm going to fly to Afghanistan. Did you ever say that? I'm going to go to Pakistan. I need some medical treatment. I need to see the doctor. I'm going to go to where I'm going to get good doctoring in Pakistan, Nepal. That's where I'm going to go. Wing of Production says, would you put Hunter Thompson? I'm not recalling who he is exactly at the moment. In the anti-white camp. I'll bet they only let doctors who are non-white get away with that, says the great Four-Null. Without question, because this is all about white erasure. White people, you will not have a white doctor. You will not have, and he definitely won't be a male white doctor. You will not have, despite the fact that when you find a white male doctor that isn't anti-white, that didn't get through school because he submitted himself to a second-class citizen treatment and embraced anti-whiteism, because those doctors are going to be garbage. That kind of person is going to be garbage. The white male doctors that are good, that aren't radically anti-white, you can never get in to see them, because everybody knows when it comes right down to it, that's the person you want to go to. Same way with pilots. Everybody knows when it comes right down to it, you want some white guy in his 40s or 50s that has been flying forever and that is a total ace to be flying your ass through the skies. Everyone knows it. So this is more white erasure. Take an opportunity to share that we are live again, that we are back for part 2, tagging me as no white guilt while we are here today. Men want a marriage, women want a wedding, says the Tree Godfather. So very true. Scrolling through the comments, what happened to Groundhog Fury? He's at a period in his life that he's having to take care of a bunch of his own stuff, situate himself, and we allow for that. We want people to have a strong base in their life. They can pay for themselves. They got health insurance. They got food. They got a living. They got et cetera, because those are going to be, that's what we really want. We want to improve the lives of white people. Those are going to be the white folk who, if you are in a situation where you might not be able to advocate for white well-being anymore, you're in a bad place. But the folks that are able to get situated again and rock steady, those are the folks who are going to be far more effective for white well-being when they're able to get back into the struggle. So we are looking forward to the great Groundhog Fury returning to the fight. Four-Null saying, sing it, Jason. What was I even singing? I know I did. Oh, it was that Don't Know How You Met Me starts off song. Thank you, brother. Yes. Trying to really get things revved up again. Trying to get it fired up here. Problematic Bio Spirit is here. Christopher has returned. My son and I are on a 3-mile walk listening to part 2. Big salutes to your son of the West. Big salutes to the both of you. All right. Craig the Man says, musician knows the science of music. Yes, they do. 100%. What about these doctors? As I spin around, we're still trying to wrap things up. We got right back into it. Savage Monkey says, hearing you loud and clear. Thank you so much, good brother. Also saying, I've been listening to your backlog and the message is consistent. Great job, brother. God bless. Thank you for that testimonial. That does not hold true anywhere, and you all know it. It doesn't hold true anywhere else. They take whatever position is expedient, especially that Fuentes character. So from 1 week to 1 month to the next, changing to whatever, and we here are consistent. Thank you for that testimonial. Adding your honorable name to the honorable names of others who have been going through the backlogs of videos and coming out, writing in the live stream. Wow. You have been on point with the predictions. You have had the same consistent message forever. So God bless you. Thank you for that. Also saying here, did you see the ADL added America First to their hate list? You know what? I'm actually surprised that it finally happened. I'm actually surprised that it finally happened. Aren't you? How does America, and when they say America first, are we talking about Donald Trump's America first? Because that would be one thing. But are they talking about Fuentes' America first? The imitation. Which America first are they talking about? Slots says, anti-whiteism has failed you. Aliens Exist is here. Dallas Malloy is in the house. See, Jason, I said you were lightning in this world. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. I am the lightning. I am the lightning and the sun. Those who know will know. We here are the lightning and the sun. Let's keep it moving. I don't see any other tags at the moment. So let's keep it moving. Janice has joined us. Now you know it's about to get real. It's about to get real in here. It was hot. That's what happened, ladies and gentlemen. It was hot today. Very hot. 96 Fahrenheit degrees here in the once great state of Northern Virginia. What's that hot song? Now I want to know the hot song so I can maybe sing a few lines. The hot one. The hot song. What is the hot song? Any Bass is with us. Good to see you. We're going to be talking about now the doctoring, as you can see on the screen. And I can't remember. Wait. I was driving through Georgia in late July on a day hot enough to make the devil sigh. I saw a homemade sign written in red, Ryan County Watermelon Festival ahead. Wait a minute. I joined and it didn't what? Something. Well, I wasn't in a hurry, so I slowed down, took a two-lane road to a one-horse town. There was a party going on. When I got there, I heard a welcome speech from a small-town mayor. He said, we got 100-gallon sweet red wine made from the biggest watermelons on the vine. Help yourself to some, but obey the law. If you drink, don't drive. Do the watermelon crawl. Got coffee. It's getting real. It's getting real. North Carolina just approved a law permitting foreign doctors to practice without completing U.S. training or licensing exams. There's a twist to this story. You're going to be surprised. American doctors, after spending thousands on their education, can now be replaced. Replaced, that's an interesting choice of words, by doctors from Pakistan and Uganda. That's just what I want to see. You know what? Here's a reality check. Many years ago, struggling to survive because I'm a white male and I am extremely talented. I excel everywhere. So everywhere I go, people endeavor to undermine me. Every single place I go. It's just like, hey, you're doing too good. And anti-whiteism states that we can pull the rug out from underneath you, so we will. So I ended up getting this like insurance out of the back of a van somewhere. And the guy was just like, hey, you want some insurance? And I was like, I need insurance. He's like, hey, health insurance, come on over here. It was Guido. And Guido was like, hey, come on, I got your health insurance right here. You come on over, you got a few bucks, you can have some health insurance. And so I had to get that health insurance. And I ended up at a doctor from Africa. I am not kidding. I wish I were. Now, he was a nice guy. He was a completely nice guy from Africa. But I needed to help him doctor me. Is that the kind of doctoring you want? Do you want doctoring where you have to do? I mean, you should be doing all your research anyhow. A doctor is just somebody working for you. Get this right, folks. They're like a maid. They're no better than a maid. They're working for you. Just like somebody working in your yard, somebody building a room on your house, somebody, whatever. It's just somebody working for you. You need to be in charge of your health. Having said that, I would like some feedback. He's like, you want to do that? Okay. Oh, you want to do? Okay. What do you think should be? I'm like, what do I think? What do I think? How about you give some of that training? That was 20 years ago. None of this is new. There's a twist coming to what's happening in North Carolina. American doctors can be supplanted.
North Carolina just turned itself into a test lab for bargain basement medicine, basically. And you and your family are guinea pigs.
We kind of want to reiterate some of the things we've already seen with relationship to that, which is kind of really important.
Now, it's kind of really important. It's kind of really important. I think the woman on the right is white, but the one on the left is not. And it's no surprise to me that she has shit tons of views. It's almost as if she is either really just super talented. No, people can't get enough of her. Probably white people, though, because she's Jewish, can't get enough of her. They need more. They need more. If she's going to say anything remotely conservative, they need more of it. Therefore, they're valid. Therefore, their concerns are meaningful and have weight. But there's probably also other Jewish people in the machinery that see a fellow Jewish person and they're like, you know what, we'll help you out. Unlike the white race. Let's take a listen. North Carolina passed a law allowing foreign doctors to practice without U.S. training or testing, according to this Jewish woman.
Because we already know there are people here that really, they don't care about you. They care about making money and they care about forwarding their agenda. And I think medicine is probably not at the forefront of what they're thinking.
Well, I don't think so either. So we've got two doctors, Frank Campbell, who is a representative out of Cabarrus County. Quite frankly, I'm extremely disappointed in. And we've got Tim Reeder, who I've talked about for the last few years out of Pitt County, who's represented both doctors. Doctors should not be in office. Pick one, right? Because they're doing things that are terrible for patients with this bill and great for the hospitals because the hospitals want more workers, right? They can crank out billable hours so they make money.
Well, I think too, people are led down the primrose path when you have someone they think is an expert. And that doesn't necessarily mean that they see things from their vantage point. Doesn't mean it's the overall vantage point. And it also doesn't mean it's the right vantage point.
Yeah. Well, this is terrible. Thanks to Republicans in the state. There's a new licensing category for medical licenses.
Thanks to Republicans.
The internationally trained physician employee license.
Anti-whites on the left and the right.
And in doing so, they literally have blown up the gold standard protecting patient care. Until now, and in every other state, every physician who wants to practice will stay there in, Europe, Ukraine, wherever. They'll come to the U.S.
Notice how this anti-white Jewish broad is like, hey, the problem is with those doctors from Europe and Eastern Europe. That's the problem.
They will complete a residency, okay? And actually, any doctor, wherever they're from.
But she knows who she's talking to. All these white cucks that see somebody who's non-white and they feel validated finally because of this anti-white morality in the West. And she knows she's speaking to them. She knows she can't criticize non-white people. The problem are the white people, the white doctors coming over. You know what? Give me some of those white German doctors. I think I'll have some of them, please.
Whether they're from Ukraine, Bangladesh, or Boston.
Oh, she named Bangladesh.
They all have to do a U.S.
in the middle, though, to kind of hide it.
Residency, and they all have to pass one of two U.S. licensing tests. So now you can literally be practicing medicine in a tent in Karachi. You come into North Carolina. Yeah. No other state, Margot.
Now, is she right about that? I don't know. Is she right about that? Can you go from practicing medicine in a tent in Karachi now in North Carolina because of this bill? You think about these states. I mean, really think about it, folks, that you'll say to yourself, if you're inside the anti-white narrative, you're like, well, there's a left and there's a white. And it's the political spectrum. And the right ones are the good ones. North Carolina, Everybody thinks big time conservative state. This is some of the most anti-white filth coming out of North Carolina. Why? Because both the left and the right are anti-white. We've got to abandon. Do you think that Jewish people really care about left and right when it comes down to whether or not their people are being victimized? This is a highly moral way to view the world. It is not immoral. It's also highly effective for individual well-being by way of group well-being. It's how you have a people. I totally support that behavior. But is she right? Well, states facing doctor shortages ease licensing rules for foreign-trained physicians. This is back in March. Hello, how can I help you? Do you have I'm sorry, what is that, doctor? Cough medicine. A growing number of states. Please take off your pants and bend over. But I'm here because I had a nosebleed. I'm going to access your nose through your rear. That's how we do it in back home. I don't know that personal. I don't know that guy. He might be an awesome doctor. A growing number of states have made it easy for doctors who trained in other countries to get medical licenses. A shift supporters say could ease physician shortages. Well, the changes involve residency programs, the supervised hands-on training experience that doctors must complete after graduating medical school. Until recently, every state required physicians who completed a residency or similar training abroad to repeat the process in the U.S. Since 23, at least 9 states since 2023 have dropped the requirement for doctors with international training, according to the Federation of State Medical Boards. More than a dozen other states are considering similar legislation. Are there going to be any white male doctors? Are there going to, you're a white person, you are already facing nothing but an uphill challenge. You're getting loaded with debt that you can't even fathom by going through medical school. There'll be no set-asides for you. Trust me, when I went through university, I went everywhere looking for money. Everywhere. And every new time that came up and I could go get money with my scorching high GPA, I went out everywhere to get money. No one would give it to me. No one. I was in a group where there was a CEO of a big company. And he said, well, just go out and go here, go there, whatever, and get yourself some money so that you don't end up with so much debt. And I said, I did. Here's an entire list of all the different places I've gone, and they won't give money to me because I'm a white male, because they've had this huge chunks of money set aside for non-whites and females. And then you have other entities that are just giving money away to females and other entities that are just giving money away to non-whites, but nothing just to white guys. Meanwhile, most of these funds that are handing out this money are financed either directly by white people or indirectly by way of our taxes, making their way back to these entities. So if you're a white guy, you want to go into medicine, you want to be a surgeon, you're going to incur infinite debt that you're going to have to pay back, all of it, that it's going to be going to the stratosphere, growing as you're still learning. And then once you're finally earning, and you're going to have to compete against doctors from Karachi who are going to charge nothing because they don't have any debt, because they did your 8 years of medical training in 2.5 years, and it's all paid off. And even what wasn't paid off, once they get to the United States, they could pay it off in 6 months with American dollars. How many white male doctors do you think are going to be left? Even white female doctors eventually. Why is this happening? Because the white race doesn't have a people, because we're not standing together, because we don't focus on ourselves, as we were talking about in part 1 of today's gathering, and therefore instantiating a people out of this deracinated race. No, the explicit white sympathetic sphere spends all day talking about anti-Jew spurging, anti-black spurging, and 50% of them add to what they're talking about, as I said earlier, angry or speculating about whether or not Fuentes is being treated fairly. Who fucking cares? You, your mother, your children, your husband are going to end up being doctored by somebody who does not have the ability, the knowledge, the education, the etc. that they should have, that they would have if there wasn't white erasure of our people, of our norms, of our standards. How about this, cucks? Where did the standards come from that are now being white erased? Did they belong to the world? Because if they belonged to the world, even though you've disavowed them as much as possible, if they belong to the world, then these standards wouldn't be white erased, would they? The standards are white erased because they're ours. About 26% of doctors who practice in the United States were born elsewhere. According to the Migration Policy Institute, they need federal visas to live in the U.S. plus state license to practice medicine. Proponents of the new laws say qualified doctors shouldn't have to spend years to get up to speed on our standards. Lawmakers in Republican and Democrat leaning states have approved the idea at a time when many other immigration-related programs are under attack. So, was the Jewish lady right about only North Carolina? Well, you can add to North Carolina, Florida, Iowa, Idaho, Illinois, Louisiana, Massachusetts, Tennessee, Virginia, and Wisconsin. And there are over a dozen more who are moving forward with the exact same policy. The exact same policy. So while there was this revolution in 2016 by white America, an actual nationalist, I would like it to have been more focused on the white race, but it was, as is typical for cucks, it was implicitly white positive, implicitly pro-white, because they want to retain the things that are ours, the norms that are ours, the neighborhoods that are ours, that we built, the cities that we built that are ours, all of them. They want to retain these things. They want that for their children in the future. So it is implicitly, and the radical anti-whites know this. They point it out all the time. But what did we get? Dog whistles. Not the kind the anti-whites talk about. We got dog whistles from Republican politicians. Meanwhile, after they tell us, yes, this is a war on the immigration, this is a shutting down the borders, we're going to be a country, but it's going to be a country of opinions, an opinion that anybody on planet Earth can take. So the H-1Bs continue to roll. They continue to pour in from all around the world, taking the best jobs. I've often said over the years, I want my doctor to drive a Ferrari because he's that good. That's what I want. I don't want him pulling up in a Saab because he's like some Soviet era doctor who's going to give me some sort of perfunctory treatment because he hates his job. He hates doing it. He can't make a living. He can't pay off his debts. No quality people are going to participate in that. This is also known as public choice theory, going in both directions. Public choice theory. Well, if you offer the jobs to the folks in Kabul, if you offer them in Nepal, if you offer them, well, it's a fantastic living that they'll be able to achieve. And if you provide a pathway for them, they're all coming. At the same time, public choice theory in the reverse here in the States, here in Germany, here in Canada, here in the UK. You say to these people, you're going to incur a colossal, a Brobdingnagian debt, and you'll have to compete with these people. What will the smart folks do? What will the guy who would have been the amazing physician do? You know, the guy who fixed my face after years and years of suffering through some sort of weird flesh injury from being punched in the face by a guy with a ring on, or probably had a ring on, whatever it did. Maybe it was his knuckle, but probably had a ring on of some sort. Caused damage to the tissue, never healed properly, endlessly problematic. I went to doctor after doctor after doctor after doctor to work on my face, and they couldn't fix it. It just got worse. And not only that, but we got to the point where no doctors would touch me. They all would look at it. The best of the best, I researched, the best of the best. They would look and say, no, I'm not touching it. The odds that it could go even worse are high, and I'm not touching it. Finally, an old as white guy from, I think he was from Massachusetts originally, because he was telling these stories as he's performing surgery on me about growing up in his little like New England town, and everybody rode their bike. This is the conservative way of saying, I want a white world. Everybody was safe. People had their red flyer bicycles. We all went down fishing. Nobody ever got abducted. This is the conservative way of saying, I want an all-white country. I was, of course, saying, yeah, it's so anti-white now. Anti-whiteism is the ideology of the day, empowering him and his older woman white nurse that wasn't chosen because she had legs to the sky, legs to heaven. That was chosen because she was sweet and she was kind and she was competent and she had a great demeanor. Everybody should have this in the West. He fixed me. I told him from the start, I said, no one will touch. Here are the doctors. He said, what doctors said they wouldn't? And I ran down the list. All these doctors won't touch it. He said, I'll fix it. Fixed it. What do you want? We all deserve this old white guy from Massachusetts who fixed me like this with his wonderful, sweet, older white nurse. Sweet as could be, knowledgeable as could be. We all deserve that. Our mothers, our fathers, our little girls, our little boys, our brothers and sisters, everybody we care about. How easy is it going to be to find such doctors when these intelligent and competent people look at the medical field and say, there's no way. I can't make a living. So this is everywhere now. Supporters of the new licensing, which is no licensing, laws include Zimai Afzeli, an internal medicine doctor who finished medical school and a residency program in Afghanistan before fleeing the Taliban and coming to the U.S. Remember, I just told a story a little while ago about another guy who was such a wonderful human being, fled Afghanistan. The United States brought him over here, paid for his entire everything. You can go back and find the stories on that. And then he decides he's going to kill a couple of police officers in Northern Virginia when they pull him over. But this guy, he's a better guy. Afzali, he said most physicians trained elsewhere would be happy to work in rural and underserved areas. Yeah, I'm sure that'll be the only place where the money is in the cities. I would go anywhere as long as they let me work, Afzali said. Afzali. Now, maybe that's true for this particular guy, but we know, according to human behavior, it's not going to be true for everybody. Who now treats patients who live in rural areas and small cities in northeastern Virginia. Isn't that nice? There are no rural cities in northeastern. This is northeastern Virginia is part of the megalopolis of New York. I mean, you can include Boston as well, Baltimore and Washington, D.C., and increasingly Richmond. There are no small towns. It took Afzali 12 years to obtain his diploma and transcript. So why? He's got it. Why is he advocating? Oh, family? Maybe racial allegiance to people in Afghanistan? He would have been happy. They would be happy. Let them come over. It's like I told you all in born guilty, where I grew up with all these kids from other parts of the world, and some of them really great people, legit great people, but they were always talking about their people coming from their own home country, more and more of them coming over and talking about taking over this industry and taking over that industry. Is that the kind of world we want to live in, where the white race muddles around as a bunch of selfish individualists complaining about the other groups of the world? That's bad. This is worse.
The Bill Rapp Chevrolet of Ogdensburg team is committed to providing excellent service and the highest quality vehicles. That has been our goal since 1954.
We sell cars here.
Today.
None of them are stolen. None of them.
Customer
Not a single
satisfaction is
car
our
stolen
top priority.
here.
You can count on
It's
us for the
Chevrolet.
same great service.
Look,
you
we
have come to
actually got a
expect.
white guy. How
We're
about
proud
that?
to be a member of the North Country.
You
care
can
about
come
more
over
than
and
just
we
your
will
vehicle.
set you up with a brand new car thing.
Together, let's drive at Bill Rapp Chevrolet.
Oh my God, they're
We
all
continue to
white.
carry
I'm
on the
going
North
there.
Country tradition.
What the hell? I love Bill Rapp.
New tonight,
This is different, though. This is infuriating beyond imagination. We're going to keep rolling, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know what you have to say. Daycare worker in Brainbridge, Georgia, has been charged with first-degree child abuse after a toddler was brutally beaten. You mean she brutally beat a white child, a white baby? That's what happened, right? Who the hell wrote that? Probably a tweet. We'll see in just a minute. Good to see Beam Rider Dan Dennis. Cool, Papa J. Corey is here. Sivan is here. Bill Rapp rocks, says for no. I know. I was all ready to really lay into that commercial, as I am wont to do. And then I was like, wait, 2 white guys, 3 white guys, whole white workforce. Bishop is here. Gaba. Carlos Gaba is here. Great to see so many champs. Get in and participate. If you haven't let people know, if you haven't retweeted, quote tweeted, post tweet, post here, post there, now's the time to do it. We still have a lot of strong information to share here in service to white well-being. We can't be stopped by lightning. I might throw it, but we're not going to be stopped by it. Take a look at this hideous looking creature, this anti-white monster here. Azimuth Clark is in the house. Roger is here. Looking for tags right now before we get into this most egregious of stories today that we're going to take a look at. Keeping an eye on all of these platforms, that they are working as they should be. Thank you so much to everybody who decided to return and decided to share what we are doing here. All right, very good. Yes, we're still rolling everywhere. The power is back. Land of the fake, home of the gays, and chaos is evil. Over here on Adosi. Hello, good to see you, brother. Nothing more on the live chat on X. What the hell was that noise? Did y'all hear that? Oh, man. Let's have a listen to the news.
daycare worker arrested in Bainbridge. Yvette Thurston is facing felony child abuse charges for her alleged treatment of a toddler. Thurston was arrested at Little Blessings, a church child care facility, and is still wearing that Little Blessings shirt in this booking photo. The child's father shared photos of his 1-year-old son online and with us, but we want to warn you first, these images are startling.
Now, this is look at this. Look at this beautiful little son of the West. Just let it sink in. Think about his injury. Think about his lifelong trauma of this anti-white adult beating him senselessly. He probably for whatever he could understand the end of life being, he was probably fully enmeshed in that fear. Death literally upon him. This is not the kind of thing that is going to go away and not affect him for the totality of his life. She doesn't matter. Her race doesn't matter. The race she comes from doesn't matter. The leg she passed between doesn't matter. What matters is that we stop our white sons and daughters from being victimized. What matters, as we were talking about in part 1 of today's gathering, is that we magnify the sense of ownership in our people so that they feel like this child being beaten is their loss. If anti-whites can do that with white people when it comes to planet Earth, so that if a river gets polluted somewhere thousands of miles away, these people become so fanatical with this sense of loss that they are out in the streets, they are standing in front of tractors, they are arresting the advance of civilization, the building of communities. We can do this with the white race. We can magnify each white person's sense of peoplehood, sense of self, to incorporate the totality of our people. And if we do that, then discussions about our victimization drive them. There is no other way. I wish we knew the little boy's name. I can tell you one thing. I'm not happy with his, if this is all his father is going to do, not very happy with the father. But I wouldn't be surprised to hear the father coming out in tomorrow or the day after or the coming week saying, this has nothing to do with race. Now, when I say that it has nothing to do with race, the father saying that, what is the father thinking about? What is the father thinking about? If he says this has nothing to do with race, what he's thinking about is that it has nothing to do with her race. The schmucks out there that are anti-non-white, they will say it has everything to do with race. It has everything to do with her race. We here say it has everything to do with race. Everything to do with the little boy's race. Can you see the difference? This needs to be blasted to the white population of the world. We are running out of time. This is going to look quaint in the future, and I don't mean distant future. This kind of injury and beating is going to look quaint.
This is Clay Weeks.
Oh, Clay. I'm sorry, Clay is his name.
Story says this happened on Clay's first day. Bainbridge Public Safety says they were called to the facility Monday just before 7 p.m. BPS has not released any details about what happened, but says officers were able to watch video surveillance of the incident. Thurston has bonded out of the Decatur County Jail and was ordered to have no contact with anyone under.
Bonded out. I wonder how she got out of jail. How did she get out of jail when she did this to a child? What was her bond set at? How much of the bond was she compelled to pay? And who opened the door for her to walk away?
18 or the Weeks family. We have reached out to the daycare for comment and have not yet heard back.
Daycare worker in Bainbridge, Georgia, has been charged with first-degree child abuse after so this guy, Colin Rugg, I guess he's normally all right. What is he, like a conservative? After a toddler was beaten. No, a toddler just was not beaten. You know, it's like you see with these white people over in the UK trying to find a remedy to prevent stabbings. So they're making square-pointed knives. The way to prevent the stabbings are to not have the people who instinctually live that way. That's the way to prevent the stabbings. This is just a toddler was brutally beaten. So is Colin Rugg a conservative? He doesn't want to talk about that race is the issue, and the race that we're talking about is the little boys. 54-year-old Yvette Thurston is accused of beating the child at Little Blessings, a church daycare center. White people, there's so much wrong here. We're put in this state where both parents are working. They have to haul their kids off to be educated at the most impressionable age of their life, these babyhood, by other adults, by other people who, to have those jobs, are going to have to demonstrate anti-whiteism, that they know who the villain is. It's the white person, that they know who the good guys are, all the non-white ones, and women, including white women to a degree. They have to demonstrate that to be able to work in these places. And very often, even if it's a Christian daycare, they beat almost the life out of the white children. She's facing charges of first-degree aggravated battery. My opinion is double up the death penalty. That's my opinion. Why did she think she could get away with this? Because our norms of justice have been white erased. She can get away with this because, and we get to the point of our norms of justice, law, and order being erased, because the social morality of the West is anti-whiteism, the anti-white immoral imperative. So what, did she have a infinitely valuable child in front of her? No, she had a white child, the cause of all the evil in the world. You think this doesn't impact them? You think she did this magnanimously? You think she didn't think about the fact that this is a white child, blue-eyed, blonde-haired white child, that this absolute anti-white monster was beating? You think she just magnanimously looked that over? Absolutely not. This is all about race, his race, conservatives. Specific details about the case or allegations were not immediately released, but investigators confirmed that officers were able to view surveillance video. Bainbridge police said the boy was treated in an area hospital. Horrific. Absolutely horrific. There's the anti-white monster, and there's the little boy that, because white people aren't taking the hard pill, was subjected to this horror. Keep complaining, though, about Jews who are going nowhere your whole life. Keep complaining about blacks who are going nowhere your whole life. Keep thinking that you can make allies of the non-whites like Arabs and blacks and Hispanics that will hate Jews with you. Keep thinking that while this happens to white little boys, you are responsible for this. Incidentally, pro-white is not pro-white at all. Absolutely monstrous. And you ask, who enabled this anti-white monster to walk? This white woman, this anti-white white woman. Chief Magistrate Anne Marie Emmons of Decatur County allowed Yvette Thurston, who beat just a baby, not a white baby, in the face repeatedly at Little Blessings Child Care in Bainbridge, Georgia, released on just 10% of just a $44,000 bond, despite video evidence showing the assault. That's where we are. She's got blonde hair and looks like blue eyes as well. Tag me if you have any thoughts on this, Masumik. This should make you physically ill. Looking at this beautiful little son of the West. Something's wrong with his father. It's anti-whiteism. Something's wrong with the mother. It's anti-whiteism. I tell you what, if any adult had beat my father's children to look like that, he would beat the life out of them. Because my father is a man. We don't have those anymore. And where we do, as like here, we turn off all the little pricks out there. We turn them off. They just want to go and complain, have a scapegoat, lift weights a little bit if they're going to lift at all, and think that that makes them masculine. Buy books on how to trick girls into having one-night stands with them. Those are boys, and they're scum. My father would have dragged her out from that place. There would have been nothing. It'd been nothing but blood and fur. Unbelievable. He's like, I took a video. Good for you. We are the people here. This is the thing to never forget. We look at these horrible stories to use them to introduce the Go Free lexicon and dialectic. That's why we look at these stories. We also look at them to motivate us. This should give you a real fire. We have the tools to fix it. So when you have the tools to fix it and you have the reasons to get busy, if you're healthy, you become a productive advocate for white well-being. If you look at this and here are the tools to fix it and you say, I can't take it, this is just making me so mad I'm leaving, then you're not healthy. You need to get into the practice and start addressing the meme pathogens inside of you that are making you a coward, that are making you a do-nothing, that are making you selfish and individualistic. And you need to get started doing that right away. For everyone else who is here, you look at something like this and let this motivate you for the next 2 freaking weeks. You're going to stop with all of your efforts, any more of these clays. You're going to stop this from happening by seeding the population with the concepts and the arguments that create a people out of our deracinated race. Absolutely sickening. Brian here reposted the stream. Thank you, brother. I really appreciate it. Making a comeback after lightning strikes. I don't see any other tags at the moment. We'll move right into the final item we have here for just a snippet. Newsom says, I just want to clear this up for everybody. He's going to draw congressional maps to end the Trump presidency. There's a lot of talk about this and whether or not that could be effective, or whether or not he could achieve this. The answer is no, because there is a private or semi-private citizen council who in California that was created 2008, 2010 range, that are the people who create the districts. And it's supposed to be nonpartisan, and they come together for this purpose. The only way that Newsom could rewrite the districts in California so that Trump could be challenged at this next election cycle and undermined by Congress is if he moves forward with a constitutional amendment, as I understand it, in California, that would bring everyone back to the polls to specifically vote on that issue. And that requires, as I understand, 2/3 of the legislature there in the California state government. So this is an individual who can't do what he wants to do here, but if he gains more power in the future, you can only imagine how anti-white things are going to go. Never forget that you are living through an extraordinary period in history with this anomalous Donald Trump in office, carrying out acts that former Trump would not have carried out, that no other Republicans will be carrying out. After Donald Trump, the support that he enjoyed, that singular, special, unique, inimitable individual and support is gone. Then it's back to politics as usual and you have anti-whites on the Democrat side frothing at the mouth to do anything. Look at what Beto O'Rourke said. Look at what this clown, New Scum, is saying right now, even though he can't do it at the moment. Look at what they're all saying. The rules don't mean anything. The laws don't mean anything. Why is that? It's always been that way. That's not new. That's what I've been teaching for so many years. Morality trumps law. Morality trumps codes. Morality trumps it's everything. They'll find a way to victimize you and me and the white population. We are all that stands in their way. It doesn't matter how much support or how much attention, how much conversation it goes on about whether or not Fuentes is being treated fairly. That's not going to do shit for the white race. Everybody here knows that. It's going to increase his popularity and wealth. Nothing for the rest of us. We got to get busy. We need to be the talk of the white sympathetic sphere. The success is here or it's over. With that, we're going to take a very short break and be right back.
I might be far gone, I don't know. I'm about to tell what I know is so. Got the reason, got a feel to the core. Your excuses just block the road.
Antiwhite says. What exactly is anti-white? You have got to be animated with the righteous passion of reclaiming our destiny. We are the heroes of this era. You can hear the cheering, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get right into this. Let me know if there's a problem and you're not able to hear me. This is a swashbuckling celebration. It's a short segment where we celebrate the work of these powerful swashbucklers, these advocates for white well-being, seeding the language and the arguments needed to put our people into a different story so that we can recapture our destiny as the moral actors. Let's hear it for every single one of these folks that we're going to be celebrating here right now. We have the great Franklin and Wes bringing in so many of these victories, bringing my attention to them. They have each of them have a different criteria for picking out victories. And so we thank them so much for their service in the work that we do in white well-being. God bless them. Let's get the raucous emojis going, ladies and gentlemen. Wild, raucous, crepitant emojis. Big thank you also to Franklin for doing the timestamps. That is an epic service to white well-being. God bless you, brother. Big salutes to you for that. Big salutes. And let's keep it going. We have to thank the folks who were over at Don Jr. stream this week. 007s, quadruple 07s for these people. This is how we reach the president himself. We did it once before. We'll do it again. We want to thank those who were over there. We've got Hoyt McCoy, Jay Bishop, the Ivan, the Franklin, Biospirit of the West, the Tree Godfather, and Cindy Bin. Big salutes, big raucous emojis. Ladies and gentlemen, let them know how much you love them. God bless for all of that work and swashing. Let's keep it going. The celebration for the individuals I've seen making epic clips this past week, some really glorious clips. And we've got the clips that I've seen from Stumbling, Anglo-Saxon NWG, The Tree Godfather, and Based White. Epic. They take the clips from these streams, they make clips, and then they put them out. Make sure that you magnify the time and work that they put into that to promulgate these clips, because there's so many folks out there. They need these little snippets. Yes, thank you all for celebrating. Big salutes to every single one of you for celebrating these victories. Let's get into our celebration here, ladies and gentlemen. Thus spoke Zarathustra, and those who were seen dancing were thought to be insane by those who could not hear the music. The music is what we are playing here, the white magic, ladies and gentlemen. That's why we celebrate Anglo-Saxon NWG 1,400. He might even have more victories. I ran out of time getting his victories together today. He might have more that we'll have to share next Sunday if I missed any. He writes, anti-whites really are driven by jealousy and envy. He empowered 1,408 people, almost 300 likes. And this is in, though all of those people are in the audience of delusional takes. Give it up for Anglo-Saxon. Look at all of that celebration. Yes, indeed, crowns and rings. The cool Papa J. Man, I haven't seen this much celebration since I took off my clothes on the top of the mountain to demonstrate that the mountain was my bitch. Let's keep it going. Based White is here, and he's on Paul Joseph Watson, empowering people over in that audience. 91 of Paul Watson's audience giving a thumbs up to Based White's comment. This isn't two-tier policing, it's anti-white policing. So true. God bless you, Based White. I don't know what the problem is. It's so easy to see the white race with these concepts that destroy us. They pick it right up. Things that are beneficial, they don't. God bless you for getting in there and empowering those people. That's Based White. Here we have the cool, the Papa, the J, the magical Matt Walsh. 306 people giving likes, being empowered by cool swashing. DEI, in quotes, is anti-whiteism. God bless you. There simply is no DEI that isn't anti-white. Of course, what a genius thing to say by Cool. Even when it seems to harm non-white people, that is only what is considered acceptable collateral damage. God bless the cool Papa J Magic swashing. He swashes more, this time under Tim Pool. Anti-whiteism is the single unifying characteristic of the left wing. 628 people empowered in Tim Pool's cock audience by the great cool Papa J Magic. Give it up for him. Big applause. Here we have in the audience of Chris Phillip, MP, we have Hans de Skipper empowering his audience. How many people did he empower in Chris's audience? 7,405. He writes, we need to replace anti-whiteism with a white positive social morality where it will survive the political tides like a magnetic field, pulling the moral compass of everyone toward white well-being. The same jury members would vote for good instead of the evil they do today. Folks, that is fundamentally correct. It is profound genius by the great Hans de Skipper. You can hear him. You can hear CKO. You can hear Tree Godfather. You can hear West. You can hear so many slots. You can hear so many brilliant people from this community every single day at 2 p.m. on Twitter. Don't miss it. Hans the Skipper back again. How many people is he empowering in Steve Law's audience? Steve Law's audience, almost 13,000 people empowered by the white positive advocacy of Hans the Skipper. The evil has a name. It's anti-whiteism. Big salutes. Big salutes. You too, copy what these people write, and you too can make it into the swashbuckling celebrations. Keith Woods, we're celebrating, reaching with his tweet 441,000 people, saying about Tommy Robinson that Tommy Robinson says not becoming a minority in or does not want whites becoming a minority, but opposes the ethno-nationalism because he would only support deporting criminals and he wants to liberate Muslims. So his new position is claiming, now the first part there, not effective as far as I'm concerned. This last part, so his new position is claiming to oppose white erasure. You did that. You did that. Keith Woods won't speak as long as he is even tangentially scooping up the crumbs from Fuentes. He'll have nothing to do with us. But you did this. You put that in his mouth, white erasure. While also, so big salute to everybody who has been swashing on Keith Woods forever. And I know that there are over a dozen of you. Great work. And thank you to Keith Woods for using white erasure. We're going to be looking at King Dice in a minute. Oh, we're going to be looking at King Dice in a minute again. Take a look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, I saw this number over 1,000. I don't know why it's saying 961 here. I saw the number just over 1,000. This is a new record. Let's give it up for the Tree Godfather and everyone participating in the Shade Tree, 2 p.m. every single day on Twitter. Look for the tweets and retweets at Hans Twitter, the Tree Godfather, CKO. I also retweet, although I'm a little late. Let's give it up for these folks. This is over the top, epic glory. God bless you, champion. Here we have the Tree Godfather liberating nearly 2,000 people on in the audience of 9mm SMG. He liberates them with this. The erasure of white men from the trucking industry has made things demonstrably less safe. And this story is unreal. Didn't have an opportunity to cover it today. Give it up for the Tree Godfather liberating these people. DEI, or that might actually not have been the exact same one I was thinking of. Here's the Tree Godfather again under the one and only Stefan Molyneux. And Molyneux is making some sort of point here, but Godfather comes in to rescue his nearly 5,000 people in the audience of Stefan Molyneux, getting to read DEI in quotes. That's how you're supposed to do it. Just means anti-white. It just means anti-white. Big salutes. Big salutes. Let's get Molyneux saying anti-white, anti-whiteism. He's too smart. He's too smart for this. Let's keep rolling. Tree Godfather again freeing 1,650 human beings in the audience of Steve Franson. You remember him. Look at all of the likes and retweets. Tree Godfather writing, anti-whiteism is the dominant social morality, and that absolutely needs to change. Sharing the epic meme with the website. Big salutes. Great work done. We got to keep moving it along. Here he is again. Same meme. Different audience, a content creator called The General. People are getting fed up with anti-whiteism, and here we have nearly 1,000 people being empowered with the verbiage you see here. This is not just, these are white magical spells, ladies and gentlemen, that these heroes are dropping. You are doing God's work. You are doing the Lord's work. Biospirit of the West. 2,500 people delivered into white magical power in the audience of the city of Mississauga. He says diversity and multicultural, puts them both in quotes, as you're supposed to, are anti-white terms which mean you celebrate fewer white people in the West and promote white erasure. Disgusting. Epic meme, as you see here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's keep it rolling. That is the biospirit of the West. Give him some love. Keep that love going for the biospirit of the West. Quadruple 07s, empowering people in the audience of End Wokeness. 3,000 folks empowered in that audience. Look at this, hundreds and hundreds of likes. This is what a white erased world looks like, folks. Our people are victims of an anti-white terror attack, an actual public lynching, and we're still portrayed as the villain. Why? Because that's the anti-white narrative. Brilliant dialectic. Let's collectively put an end to this foul anti-whiteism. Big salutes to the biospirit of the West. He is still going. Over 1,000 people in the audience of Lady Mary, one of Tofu. Over 1,000 people liberated and empowered. Hundreds of likes. Take a look at that meme. Powerful, ladies and gentlemen. Anti-whiteism, anti-whites like you and the pub staff only know how to do one thing: destroy Western civilization. It's what you're programmed to do. Perfectly written. Your anti-whiteism stinks to high heaven. Big salutes. Big salutes. That is the way to drop the bomb and make them squirm. It is the biospirit of the West. Folks, we did this, what you see on your screen, and we'll keep doing it because all of it is replicable and scalable. Never forget that. Let us bring up King Dice. We're almost done here with the swashbuckling. Have a listen.
Anti-whiteism that the Sydney Sweeney ad has caused to supercharge is resulting in a lot of white people, particularly some very beautiful white women, standing up and proclaiming that they're proud to be white, something that you never would have seen just a few years ago. This from a Turning Point USA ambassador who posted on Twitter, "It's okay to be white," by the way.
Is taking a breath.
Something that you would never see any of these conservative Inc. types say, because the Jewish ADL has deemed that phrase to be a white supremacist slogan. Anybody who's been following the online news for the last 5 years or so, 10 years, is aware of the "It's Okay to Be White" flyer campaign. But now, conservative Inc. types are proudly proclaiming it.
One more video of King Dice. We love him. Keep the celebration going for him.
When their people get arrested, they complain about it. Remember those thugs who viciously assaulted those 2 white people in Cincinnati a few weeks ago? Well, of course, the locals there are upset about it and blaming the victim.
6 individuals were charged with aggravated assault, which is a felony. The white guy incited or urged 6 other people to commit a felony.
Of course, they're claiming that he used the little N-word, which is always an excuse for them to justify their violent rage and express their anti-whiteism in the most violent, brutal, primitive ways possible.
Let's hear it for King Dice, ladies and gentlemen. 10 seconds. We'll be right back. Let's keep those celebrations going for Anonymous, who financially gifted 50 white well-being dollars, 50 of them to contend with the anti-whiteism in the only way showing an improvement in people's lives, recapture of our destiny, and magnifying that influence in circle after circle, concentric circles of our lives, ladies and gentlemen. Anonymous, standing tall. 50 white well-being dollars. I don't even have to look. And I know that dude bro moment is up there, ladies and gentlemen, with 50 more dollars. Give that man some crowns. Give that man some gems. Give him all that he deserves. 50 more dollars he throws into the fight to contend with anti-whiteism, to protect the clays of the world. Let's protect the clays of the world. Let's put an end to the anti-whiteism. That's what Anonymous and Dude Bro Moment are doing over on the Entropy platform. $50 to protect the clays of the world so we can put an end to those savage anti-white beatings, to protect the Hollies of the world, to protect the 2 white guys that were beaten with Holly and never named, and nobody cares about them. That's what those dollars are for. God bless you good brother. And what do you know? He's right there. Didn't even have to look. Let's see if we have any others to celebrate on Entropy. And if we don't, I'll make my way back over to Entropy. We will swivel around this way. Let me make sure I didn't turn off the audio. Nope, it appears to still be working. Let us head on over to Give It Up for the one, the only, the first last. First last over here. $100 to protect the clays of the world. $100 to put an end to the savage anti-white beatings that the clays of the world face today or tomorrow or the day after. We care about our actual brothers and sisters. We want to put an end to this today, and we are putting an end to it today. Not the white race as an abstraction, but the white race as brothers and sisters that we can touch and know and speak to. Ladies and gentlemen, $100. Keep it going for the great Corey. $50. He throws in $50. He throws in to protect the clays, to contend with this violence. No more savage beatings of our people. Not our children, not our women, not our men, not our seniors. None of it. We're putting an end to it. Give it up for the great Corey as well. I see they wrote some comments. I'll come back to those comments as I swivel around this way. Make sure I didn't miss anybody. And nope, I do not see any. And if you financially gifted me on Premium Rumble before in part 1, and I'm not able to see it now, so just tell me in the live chat what you gifted. And if you're a regular, I'll believe you. And then we will share it and what you said. Thank you very much. Swiveling around back this way, checking on Subscribe Star, making sure we didn't miss anybody. Okay, we didn't miss anybody. We will come back then. The great First Last, writing with his fantastic financial gift. He writes, mountain vacation with Heimbach? No, thank you. And no, that wasn't. Never. Corey says with his financial gift, thanks, brother. 07. Thank you, man. 07's to you. Mountain vacation with Heimbach. If we did go up on such a vacation, he'd never return because he would like it so much up there. So he wouldn't want to come back. That makes sense, doesn't it? We also have Yiz, the Unifier, financially gifting $5. Weekly folk tithe for white well-being. Thank you so much, Yiz, and great to see you. We have Well Done, $5 financially gifting. Thank you, brother. $5 flowing every live stream as long as I can afford it. Well, bless you for that. Know that those $5 are going to fight to prevent the clays from being victimized, the real living white people. Thank you so much for your service. Great to see you. We're working class people. And I know sometimes people like you've got First Last and Corey and so many others you think is they must be rich. Dude Bromo must be rich. They must be rich, but they're working class people. So every single dollar is extremely meaningful. God bless these people. Thank you so very much. Not possible otherwise. All of these platforms have to be all on and on and on. So God bless you. We got 007s. 007s from Double V. Thank you so much here on the live chat on Twitter X. Glad to see that we could get some folks back over there. We have Who'da Thunk It over here on Entropy with a financial gift of $9.97. Let's just call it $10. $10 from Who'da Thunk It. And he writes with those $10, it feels as if I need to not openly protect others and myself, but craft a ladder for women. Excuse the negativity. Quote, females of both sexes, yes, to climb the same distance for our people as I have. Like I need to protect the victimizers or enablers to recapture our destiny. Not exactly sure. I think I know what you're trying to say. But yes, we do have to provide them these concepts and these arguments from Go Free. Just do these 6 key concepts, if nothing else. We need to provide them with these things. That is the ladder for them to climb out of the anti-white narrative. Thank you so much for the financial gift and your service to white well-being. Who'd have thunk it? Thank you so much. Yes, the women of both sexes. We also have the great Stumbling over here on Entropy. Good to see you, brother. And the great Stumbling says $15 financial gift. Thank you so much for those $15. He says, hails, Jason. Prometheum hails to you, my brother. Love this segment on climate change, anxiety, and thinking. How he's referring to part 1. So you'll have to go watch part 1. This gathering is split up into 2 parts because of my lightning. He says, and thinking how we can borrow strategies. Just as climate change is blamed on whites, I think we must blame white erasure on whites too, if we want to get traction with vagues. Well, you can certainly begin with pacing a vague. You can certainly begin with pacing a vague. You would want to say in that scenario, anti-white white people. I've done that. So particularly back during Tea Party movement, talk about some really fragile people. So yes, start off there. And then after you get them acclimated to anti-white, then I've done it in single conversations. Get them acclimated to anti-white, then you just drop it. Or white part and just use anti-white. 100%. Glad to see that you're thinking. And that's the thing about this community, is that we are the elite. We are the special warfare operators, the lovefare operators. We're thinking about how to reach our brothers and sisters, to bring them to the use of the lexical and dialectical power so that we can become a people, so that we can recapture our destiny. He says his final sentence here, we have to slip under their racially sensitive anti-white radar. Very well said, brother. Big salutes to the Stumbling. Always a thinker, always kicking ass. God bless you, brother. All right. I don't think there is anything else. If I missed you, then speak up or forever hold your peace. And I will get to you if you don't hold your peace. We have, what is this? Spiracy over on D Live. Hello, I've not seen you before, have I? Oh, well, then you are most welcome. DK Spiracy says, I get sent too much negativity on Telegram. I don't like focusing on the negative. I want to find a solution. Welcome home. Welcome home, my brother. Welcome home. We are the people who achieve victories in our lives and everything we touch. Police departments, school systems, family courts, we have the victories. So welcome home. This is where the answers are. Glad you're here. If you have any other questions while we're together, tag me as No White Guilt over there. I don't know if I have to say hi to be able to be tagged there as well, but tag me as No White Guilt and I will answer your comments or questions. Same holds true for everyone across the board. All right. We do not have any mail today. Regrettably, I've opened the mailbag. It felt light, and when I peered down inside, it was empty. But that's okay. Every now and again, you're going to have days like this. Mama said there'd be days like this. There'd be days like this. Mama said, wasn't that a black female group or something? See, what happens is I've told you, when I was a child, when commercial jingles would come on, I would cover up my ears and hum really loud to keep them out of my head, because otherwise it just got stuck. Why is that song reminding me of a totally different genre of music? Helios Abbott is here. Good to see you, brother. Samuski. You were the first thing that I thought of when I thought I drank you off my mind. When I get lost in the liquor, you're the only one I find. If I did the things I oughta, you still would not be mine. What is that, Clint Black? So I keep a tight grip on the bottle, getting loose and killing time. This killing time is killing me. Henry is here. Good to see you. All right. I don't see any more tags. Tag me as no one get if you have any comments. First last said John Lennon. It was definitely not a guy's voice that I'm hearing in my head. So it had to be done by somebody else. Unless that's unrelated. Let's get into and then we have one announcement today. And when I ask you all to send positive energy and prayers to Mrs. Jess Horst. You know, she is a longtime member of this community. Her and her family, wonderful people, great people. And she is having some challenges, some health challenges, and she needs our love. She needs our prayers. She needs our energy, a positive energy. Please take a moment when we're done here or right now and say a little prayer for Mrs. Jess Horst and her family, for her health to improve radically and to come through this with flying colors. Please, for Mrs. Jess Horst. Thank you all for that. The great Lunder said John Lennon in drag. Maybe. Maybe. Forward Wellbeing is here. Good to see you, brother. Yeah, Cindy Ben, thank you for that. Prayers for Mrs. Jess Horst. For Noel saying, oh no, I know it's nameless one. Yeah, it's awful. We're going to help her pull through this. All right. Let me make sure I didn't miss anybody over here. And I don't think I did. We'll get into our lesson of the day. We're not too terribly off track for the gathering. So grateful to all of you for coming back. You really have no idea how magnificent the effect on the white race that this community has been. Just wanted to form a really passively constructive sentence there, but it's true. And I know all around we see tons of energy for things that are deleterious or at best innocuous, ineffective. So it's easy to get swept up in the fanfare and think that something must happen, but nothing will happen with those other endeavors. Unfortunately, nothing is. I want nothing more than to protect the little clays of the Western world. And I look out, and this is just heartfelt where I come from. I got involved, and a long time ago, and I was submitted myself. I was respectful of the people who had been in the fight, far more respectful than this crop of Zoomers that have no respect whatsoever, the vast majority of them. And I heeded what they had to say, and I disagreed in some places and agreed in others, and I thought about it, and I had conversations and built this. And as I said in part one, over the years, incorporated knowledge from many different disciplines and build something that works for everyone. So it's this or something else that comes along that doesn't exist yet, because everything else is either harmful or at best ineffective for the reclamation of our destiny. They can be effective at other things. There are history preservation groups, for example. There are small Christian groups that provide for this family building, family networks, family support structure. There could be a lot of other things that are going on out there that are doing positive work for individual white people. And all of that I can get behind. But when it comes to the recapture of our destiny, nothing but getting us out of the anti-white narrative will do it. Becoming a people. And so we're here, we're it. So it might come down to, reality, as I've said before. You have these people show up and they'll say, attacking, and they'll say, oh, you're punching right. You're attacking your own movement. These people have never been my movement. They've never been your movement. When we articulate a better way, we are a thing in and of itself. We are a perfect enclosed system that has continuity from start to finish, finish to start. So there is no, these people are on the same mission. There is no punching right. You're either white positive or you're anti-white. That's how the world looks to me. And if you're not providing for the recapture of our destiny, if you're not improving the lives of actual white people, then it doesn't matter how many grandiloquent arguments you make about the white race in the abstraction. At some point down the road, you're anti-white. Incidentally, pro-white is not white positive. It's not pro-white. So good on every single one of you. Mean it from the bottom of my heart. It is when you're truly revolutionary, it could be a lonely place to be. Thank God we got each other. All right. Our segment of the day, of Go Free lesson of the day. We mentioned it in part one. Equality is the demand of he who measures his weakness against the strength of others. With equality, he publicly justifies his unprincipled resentment. We're going to take a little dive into Go Free here in just a minute. Take a little look real quick to see if any of you have anything that you are tagging me with. Looks like we are blank over here, but it does look like the system is up and running. As I do that, we'll listen to a little bit of a brand new Slots piece of music. the great Slots. Maybe we have Samuski here. We love that you are here today to teach us how to reclaim our destiny. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for being here. Thank you for that appreciation. Thank you for standing shoulder to shoulder with me, good sir. That's the great Samuski, ladies and gentlemen. God bless you, brother. For no. That he does. Can everybody hear me? I guess you can, because you'd be freaking out. All right, we are short on time. We're running late in the evening, so we're going to go ahead and roll up this great. You'll find this piece over on Slot's Twitter account, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. That's right. And it's a really beautiful piece. So I highly encourage you to check it out. We are a beautiful community. Let's get into this page 75, Go Free, second edition, iteration 2. And we've got so much more to add. The third edition is going to be a big book. It's going to be a big book. It is the way it is. But that's what service to white well-being looks like. And I had this conversation with a guy who's well-meaning. So I don't think I'm not being negative on him, but mentioning the criticism or tone policing that we here are our own dojo. We here teach a form of white well-being kung fu. And so we tell you not to do the acts, the behavior, the thoughts that do not conform to this practice. That's what we do here. The tone policing that takes place is the rest of the white sympathetic sphere, the explicit segment at least, when they show up and demand the attack on non-whites. And if you don't do it with the language that they use, and much of that language is the language given them by anti-whites, then at best they kill you with silence. They don't celebrate your victories, but of course they will scurrilously attack you. So what are we talking about here when we're talking about the jealousy and envy? Going a little deeper, both white and non-white anti-whites begin their sickness from the same place: jealousy and envy. When they look at the grandeur of Western civilization, the beauty of Western kind, and the glory of the West history, they feel jealousy and envy, both white and non-white. The anti-white non-white feels this way because he's not a Westman. The anti-white Westman feels this way because he does not feel himself a member of our people. Whether white or non-white, they might fixate on their own wealth versus our wealthiest, their own intelligence compared to our most intelligent, their own attractiveness compared to our most attractive, on and on. Jealousy and envy highlight the disparity between these individuals and Western kind, and they call that disparity injustice, defining themselves as victims. Very powerful dialectic tool for anti-whites. But who's to blame? Fate, chance, God? Anti-whites cannot satisfy the desire for revenge on abstractions or deities, but they can avenge themselves on Westmen, who by virtue of their existence cause and benefit from the injustice, who by virtue of their existence are avatars for Western kind. This is how you have the white guy, construction working white guy at the end of the street, being attacked by his anti-white white daughter. He becomes the avatar for all of Western kind. That's what happens to each and every one of us. That's what happened to Clay this past week. He was the avatar for the entire West when Her Name Doesn't Matter attacked him savagely. Little Clay is who matters. It is all about race, his race, not hers. We should have memes that say that. In this way, anti-whites recast every Westman as an avatar for every strength against which the anti-white measures himself to be weak. Every Westman represents greater wealth, even if he is poorer. Every Westman. So how many times do you see this? These anti-white non-whites who are thieving from, say, the government taxation going to child welfare to the tune of millions, and then they come out and complain about how the white race is richer. How many times have you ever heard not filthy rich non-white people like Oprah Winfrey, complain about the wealth disparity? Every Westman is an avatar for the greatest wealth. Every Westman represents a greater advantage, even if he is disadvantaged. And that holds true. Every white guy alive, hearing my voice or not, knows exactly what I'm talking about. Treat it as though you have this mystical, invisible advantage when in every conceivable way you are disadvantaged. This is the anti-white narrative. Every Westman represents greater beauty, even if he is ugly. And we're seeing the great hatred for Sydney Sweeney's beauty, white beauty, right now. We're seeing this great hatred. We're seeing this awareness among the populations of the world that for some reason they find the members of their race that are diluted with white background to be the most attractive in their race. That's a curious thing. And we are hated for it. Pay close attention to this. This is the true aim of the anti-white. If you understand this, you don't need to imagine cabals. You don't need to imagine that everyone is everybody in the government or in the tops of the biggest countries, they're all just actors on a stage. You don't have to go to these fantasies to truly understand how we get to anti-white outcomes everywhere. You don't need to imagine that there is some big rock, black rock, purple rock that is ordering it from on high. And therefore, you just need to complain about them until the end of time in the utterly futile hope that they will poof and disappear someday. Understand this, what I'm about to read, and you'll get all of the anti-white attacks. This is the true aim of the anti-white: to punish, so to victimize the Westman for the feelings of inferiority that Western kind inspires in them. To punish the Westman for the feelings of inferiority that Western kind inspires in them. We don't have to do anything. And this is where you can really see how malevolent and egregious it is. There is nothing we can do except cease to be, to arrest the feelings that our presence inspires in our victimizers. So cuck conservatives really need to hear and grapple with that. You can't disavow everything that we've ever done. You can't disavow our looks and say that non-white people are better looking. It's not going to work because it's not your thoughts that are motivating our victimization. It's theirs. You need only listen to what they share, and they'll tell you. You can't disavow our creations. You can't disavow our beauty. You can't disavow our wealth. You can't say that non-whites would have done it better. None of it will change the thinking in the heads of anti-whites. The only thing that can remedy this fundamental conclusion, this operational 24/7 every day through their lives, the only thing that can remedy this is our biological white erasure, is for us to cease to be. There is no other remedy for them. For us, we go free. For us, when we go to them and we say, as a percentage of our overall race, a collective, a people growing in that percentage, we go to them and say, you're not going to victimize us anymore. We will ruin you. We have the morality. We will defend ourselves. We will avenge ourselves. That's the only thing that can stop this, short of our biological erasure. As self-conceived victims, anti-whites gain what we all know for a victim is the right of self-defense. Now, flip this around as we were talking about a little earlier in part 1. Think about it. Do I need to spell this out? If conceiving of yourself fictionally as a victim inspires the fanaticism and the right of self-defense to the degree that we see in anti-whites, imagine what actual victimization would inspire, an awareness of actual victimization. And think now about all of the times that so many across the white sympathetic sphere, especially the ones that have more muscles than brain cells, or more, fetid, vulgar, disgusting lives than brain cells, have come to you and said, no, you never talk about being victimized. These people are pulling all the teeth out of your mouth. They're tying your arms and legs behind you. We have the evidence of victimization everywhere. Victimization inspires righteous indignation. Victimization inspires the righteous notion of a right to self-defense. Back to the anti-whites, which enables anti-whites to inflict harm on Westmen in good conscience. Another element of it there. White people are always concerned about everybody else. What are they going to think? How are they going to feel? I've literally, and I know you have too, heard white cucks say, well, but if we go in there and we say that they can't victimize us as white people, what might they think? That might scare them. That might hurt them emotionally. Concerns for those things evaporate when you are discussing relentlessly our victimization. They can victimize Westmen in good conscience, and which justifies the most fanatical behavior and actions. Think about if we had, like that little white woman at the beginning in part 1, if instead of feeling victimized by a river getting polluted thousands of miles away, she felt victimized by white children being beat up by anti-whites. What would her fanaticism look like at the school board, at the school itself, at the daycare? How many phone calls would she make? How many people's faces would she get in screaming, bloodthirsty, like they do for the environment? However, jealousy and envy are not legally, socially, or morally acceptable grounds for revenge in Western civilization. Cool Papa J Magic saying, listen to this man, no white guilt. Listen to that guy. We go over his swashing victories every week. Brilliantly written. Thank you so much for that, brother. Anti-whites overcome this barrier with the moralization, intellectualization, and sentimentalization, we call that miss, of pretexts to legitimize the harm they inflict on Westmen. So we can reduce everything. We have, how many content creators have you watched over the years? And they want to talk about this school of thought from this university or that school of thought from the other university. And they want to dive in and talk about, and they want to swim through the nonsense on and on. Sometimes they then want to say, where did this school of thought come from? Then they want to go on with these philosophaster historical lessons about this group of people, and they came up with it for this reason, and somehow magically they knew, despite the dynamical nature of society, that it would work in this specific way at some point down the road. Preposterous. You could take all of those conversations, encapsulate them in miss, because all of the arguments that you're going to hear from all of those thinkers, politicians, philosophers, on and on, when it redounds to anti-whiteism, is a product of the moralization, intellectualization, and sentimentalization of pretexts. They want to arrive at an anti-white outcome. How to get there? Some will go the moralization route. Some will go the intellectualization route. Others will go the sentimentalization route. It's constantly at work, combating the excuses that they fabricate as a consequence of mispretexting is futile. I have given you a scalpel the size of King Saturn's rings to slice through anti-white garbage. Why would you go anywhere else? Why would you heed anything else? The pretexts in their aggregate form the doctrine of anti-whiteism. Does that make sense? Should make sense. Here's the doctrine of anti-whiteism, ever evolving to fit the times as a consequence of the mispretexting, which the resentful among us fanatically adopt to serve their self-interests. So the anti-white fanatics adopt these excuses to serve their self-interest. Combined with the power of our leading institutions, which the anti-whites have hijacked, we talked about all the nodes of power, the anti-whites have established our modern anti-white moral code we talk about so very often. The power and this power and moral code enable anti-whites to extort money, sex, resources, privileges, and more from whites. Thus, to jealousy and envy are added the motivators plunder and lust. They don't come first. That's not where it starts. The people who conclude that are either just wrong or intentionally misleading you, or their error stems from how they view the world as selfish individualists. Why would anybody do this? And so it's so true that we see that kind of argument so often on Fox News and from conservative content creators. They're doing it just for the money. It's just the money. All the victimizing white people, it's just the money. Of course, we have to ask the question then, why is there a gravity that enriches the victimization of white people? Where does that come from? And then if that's the case, if there is a gravity that enriches those who are anti-white, then it's that gravity, that morality that we have to defeat. Not simply address the abstraction of theft, personal enrichment, ambition, etc. I hope my conservative brothers and sisters are listening. Armed and motivated, anti-whites inflict harm on Westmen and attack Western-kind's bio-spiritual expressions, the culmination of which is Western civilization. By altering and destroying that which we love, brings us happiness, and secures our well-being, anti-whites further inflict harm on our people. Sometimes it's hard for people to understand that. I don't know why, but sometimes it is hard for people to understand. But imagine if you wouldn't do this and I wouldn't do this, but imagine if there was, or let's just say someone else, you would be more understanding if you saw someone that had a really awful boss and the boss was abusive in every imaginable way, this manager, say, and this person needing the job, not being able to contend with the boss, needing the job, can't go elsewhere, maybe doesn't want to go elsewhere because of the money is good for that individual or whatever, they decide to do things that upset the boss. That's what happens to the white race when you white erase our norms, when you white erase our standards, our sensibilities. It is an injury on us. And that's how we should treat it. Even more importantly, that is how we should treat it. Individual anti-whites. This is the final note that I'll read here today. Individual anti-whites need not, listen closely, need not plan, desire, or even consider white erasure in all its forms, including the final white erasure. They need not consider it, plan it, think about it at all to achieve that outcome. They only need inflict aggregate and cumulative harm. Now, I just shared with you, I mean, this is like, you could go listen to 10,000 speeches elsewhere in the whites. This is just the truth about everything under the sun and not come away with an ounce that you could use in your life and understanding our victimization, understanding this world. And not only that, the blueprint, the actual plans that others have walked and succeeded with laid out before you. What more does this white sympathetic sphere need? I'm going to take a look at your comments. If you have any, look for any financial gifts, and then we'll be getting out of here. Getting out of here. Over here. Over here. All of these criticisms, but we keep winning. It feels so good to be so freaking right. It feels so good to be so freaking right everywhere we turn. Let me see. I don't see anything else here on the live chat on X. Remember that you will show up tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Shade Tree. And I will be retweeting it, and others will be retweeting. So make sure that you are a part. You'll show up. You will listen. You will potentially participate. You will hear brilliant people sharing their thoughts from a white, positive perspective. Let's see if anybody over here has anything to say. Friend or foe? Scrolling through. Yeah, lust and plunder, writes first, last, are only palliative. Yes, indeed. Well put, brother. Well said. All right, scrolling back through. What a glorious. We made it happen. We started off, we were rocking it. We were rocking it today on part one. Had a great audience. Audience was climbing, and then lightning set us aside for a moment. It would take lightning, but we came right back. We gathered our momentum again, and here we are. I will be back on Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that is the other time during the week that I stream. And we will be taking it again to the next level with a roll-in, going free. I'm optimistic. We got a lemon over here on D Live from Hartsa. Thank you so much, Hartsa. Hartsa just keeps showing up every now and again, chucking some D Live coinage at us. I'm optimistic. There is an increasing amount of flux in the world right now, and that provides opportunities. And this is so important for us, and what we talk about so much is that preparing ourselves for the challenges that you can't forecast, that can be created by man or created by chance or the dynamism of society, created by nature, the challenge and also the opportunities that are presented to us when we can rush through the gap and make a great deal of gains. Now is the time to be girding ourselves, reaching as many of our good brothers and sisters as we possibly can, and keeping our eyes open for chances and opportunities right now. There are going to be a lot of them. There are going to be a lot of folks that are hearing new messages. They're going to get themselves hurt, especially if it's anti-non-white messaging, and they're going to go out and they're going to say something that is going to make family members upset or scared or whatever. They're going to be looking elsewhere. We need to be there for them. The success of the work that we do here is regrettably not going to come from the people who traditionally folks, especially from the outside, would look in and say, those groups are allies. We're not allies at all. We're not in the same movement at all. We're here for white well-being. Nobody of any other race needs to be victimized to stop our victimization. That doesn't mean that some psycho of another race might attack us and suffer the consequences of that, but that's on them. That's not on me. That's not on this race. That's not on this people, this Western kind, of which these champions here are the best that it has to offer. Love you all. Keep your chin up. Let's keep the white fight and the white light going forever and evermore. Let's go free.